Interest rates are set to rise in 2022. Will that be the trigger needed to cool down the market, or, dare I say, cause it to crash? Stick around and I'll share my prediction with you. No. The answer is no. Shortest episode yet. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Okay, so you probably want a little bit more than that, obviously. So in early December, the Bank of Canada maintained the overnight rate at 0.25% and also released a statement saying that increases to that rate may be coming sometime between April and September of 2022. Many chief economists and analysts are suggesting that we could see as many as 4 rate hikes by the end of next year. That means that interest rates could be a full % or more higher than they currently are. Many major banks have already started increasing their lending rates in anticipation of the Bank of Canada increasing the overnight rate. So what does this mean for the real estate market? Well, in order for me to have any confidence in making a prediction about what could happen, I only have to look at the recent past to see increases in interest rates and any corresponding changes to housing prices. So this first chart comes courtesy of ratehub.ca, and what we're looking at is the historical discounted 5-year mortgage rates over the past roughly 15 years for Canada. And there's really only one specific part or section of the graph that I want to point out, and that would be right here, starting in roughly May of 2017, where 5-year fixed rates were about 2.24%. Now, what we can see from that point right in there, and rates were about 2.24% for May, June, and July of 2017, is that we saw a very sharp increase leading up to later, like the fall of 2017, before dipping a little bit down to 2.69, but then continuing a fairly steady increase until we got to early 2019, specifically February of 2019, where we saw rates rise to 3.24%. That is a full 1% increase over not quite 2 years, but about a year and a half, starting at 2.24% back in the late spring, early summer of 2017. So this second chart shows average annual sale prices for all properties being sold in the Toronto Real Estate Board over the past number of years, but we're just going to focus on the far right side of the chart, the 3 out of the 4 last bars showing sale prices for 2017 through 2019. And we do see a decline in prices from 2017 to 2018, and interest rates rose about 0.5% from one year to the next. But what also happened in 2017, interestingly enough, was the announcement of the Fair Housing Plan by the provincial Liberal government. And while prices were starting to decline from a peak of February or March of 2017 heading into April, once that Fair Housing Plan was announced in April, it really put a stop to the real estate market. Everything ground to a halt, and prices continued to decline, I would say, more precipitously after that announcement had been made, and extended well late into 2018 and started to rebound in early 2019. And to kind of further that point and support that opinion, that I think it was the Fair Housing Plan that really had more of an impact on the real estate market than rising interest rates. When we look at what happened with the average sale price from 2018 to 2019, we see an increase in prices where the 2019 average sale prices got back to 2017 levels, despite the fact that mortgage interest rates rose another 0.5% from 2018 to 2019, which was the same amount that interest rates rose from 2017 to 2018. So same increase in mortgage interest rates, but instead of a decline in housing prices, we saw an increase in housing prices. So that would seem to indicate that, again, any kind of change to prices from 2017 to 2018 was not necessarily due to an increase in interest rates. So will rising interest rates be enough to crash the housing market in 2022? I don't see that happening. Will they be enough to possibly cool the market, slow it down a little bit? Maybe, but it depends on how many rate increases and by how much. And there are other factors at play that need to be considered as well, such as inflation, which often causes hard assets like real estate to become more expensive, and immigration, which will depend a ton on COVID and how open the borders are. I probably speak on behalf of all buyers and certainly many real estate agents as well when I say that a slight cool down of the market would be welcomed if it happens to come. Current price escalations are not sustainable, and they cause desperation for some and unrealistic expectations for others. I'm Jamie Harnish, Toronto Real Estate Navigator with Bosley Real Estate. I want to thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you watching, and I hope to see you again. Take care.